Good evening. As the Mayor and the Met Commissioner took some satisfaction in London's falling murder rate today, there was another more forceful message: stop talking our city down. With the murder rate at its lowest in more than a decade, Mark Rowley criticised those who make false claims about the capital for their own gain. Instead, he pointed to the tactics that he believes have made London one of the safest cities in the world. London is, though, still a city where young black men are more likely to be victims of murder. Kath Opata has been looking at the numbers and the people making a difference.
This is the online opinion of London, dangerous and unsafe, a view amplified by one of the loudest voices in the world.
He's a terrible mayor, and look at the crime you have in London.
London is safer than not just any state in the USA, but any major city in the USA. London is safer than New York. You're 12 times less likely to be the victim of homicide in London compared to Chicago, 5 times less likely London versus Los Angeles. Do you enjoy coming here?
The mayor's argument is based on newly released figures, which today show a drop in London's homicide rates. It now stands at 1.1 per 100,000 people, the lowest in any UK city. Last year, there were 97 murders, an 11% reduction from 2024. And amongst that drop included the number of murdered teenagers, which is now at its lowest in 3 decades.
I feel very, very pleased because what we hear about London is sometimes not the reality of London. And what we know today is the number of homicides has dramatically fallen. And we know that violence continues to go down.
The drop in murders is partly due to operations like these, intelligence-led raids aimed at disrupting violent gangs, arresting an additional 1,000 criminals every month. But for there to be intelligence, there needs to be trust.
People don't really trust the Met, do they?
Let's not be quite so apocalyptic. The majority of Londoners trust the police. 74% of Londoners say they trust us. Only 12% don't. It's a small proportion.
It's not great amongst ethnic minorities.
The numbers are going up. The trust of black communities, where policing doesn't have a great history with black communities and some of the things that have gone on in history, the trust of black communities has grown more quickly. That gap is closing.
There's no denying this is positive news, but when you look at the numbers, when you really drill down into things, you realise there's a racial disparity. There are fewer white people who are victims of homicides. Black people account for almost half of all murder victims. And in fact, in recent years, the number of black people murdered with a knife has actually gone up.
In my opinion, the data is as correct as the system wants it to be.
Mark's organisation works with high-risk young people. He sees things the police can't, and he feels there's a blind spot in these stats.
Unless it's a fatal injury or life-threatening injury, someone not even going to hospital, someone not reporting that. And the reason being, the protocols in the hospital would mean that they would have to phone the police, which would put that person in a predicament.
These stats aren't quite the slam dunk for the Commissioner. There is still work to be done. A reduction in the murder rate doesn't necessarily mean a safer London.
And Charlene, just to pick up on that point there, obviously murder isn't the only crime in London. It's not the only metric for safety. There are other crimes like thefts, some sexual offences, shoplifting. These are all on the rise. And these are crimes which make Londoners feel unsafe. Yes, the murder rate is down, but is London the safest city? Depends on who you ask.
OK, Kath, thanks very much. Well, let's speak now to criminologist James Alexander, who's from London Metropolitan University. He's come in to talk a little bit more about these stats. So what do you make of the numbers, James?
Obviously, it's positive that the numbers are going down, but I would be a little bit cautious looking at kind of violence or murder over a short period of time. If we look a little bit longer, we start to see a trend where violence and murder goes down and it goes back up again, and we've had this pattern for a long period of time now. So it's positive, it's really good, but I don't think it represents a long-term safety.
So what then needs to be done long term? Because when you talk about those numbers, they go down and then they go back up again. The reason why they go down tends to be, I don't know, money that's been put into systems years previously, which then you see an effect of that because, you know, you have those numbers that decrease. So therefore, you're saying that we have to keep on investing in young people in order to try and keep these numbers down?
Yeah, so I think there's two things there. One, if this is police enforcement led, it is going to be very short term. You can't get rid of this system by just kind of having extra enforcement. What you do need is long-term investment in young people, long-term investment in kind of early intervention programs that kind of get to the heart of the problem. What we are seeing is lots of funding going into these areas, but it's short-term funding. It's 1, 2, maybe 3 years at the most, and then a project stops. And this is the problem.
Well, we can see these numbers. I mean, back in 2003, you know, when we look at murder victims, it was white men aged between 25 and 24 leading those victim numbers. But now 1 in 10 homicide victims are black boys aged between 13 and 19 years old. Now, historically, they've looked at this as being black on black crime, but I think it's fair enough to say that we have to look at those numbers in terms of areas of deprivation within London.
Yeah, when we look at the data, what we find is that kind of homicide and kind of knife crime happens in kind of very few neighbourhoods. So if you're outside of those neighbourhoods, you are relatively safe from those types of crime. But if you're in those neighbourhoods, you are far more likely. So about 2/3 of kind of homicides happen in kind of less than 2% of London's neighbourhoods. So it's those neighbourhoods that are most affected by deprivation, are most affected by funding cuts, and have the most need, and young people are being left.
So finally then, James, if I had a magic money pit, where would you like investment and money to go to try and keep these numbers low?
So what I would do is invest in the long term. So I would get rid of 2 and 3 year funding cycles and have kind of fund organisations, grassroots organisations that already have contacts with young people that are at risk or involved in violence, and fund them over the long term so they don't need to worry about where their next bit of money is coming from.
OK, James, thanks so much for joining us. Well, today, more than 100 members of staff from the Mayor's Office for Policing and Crime have started a 3-day strike. Members of the Public and Commercial Services Union are disputing what they say are real terms pay cuts. The strike ends on Thursday, when more than 6,000 civilian staff at the Met begin their own strike over not receiving the same one-off payment as police officers. The driver of an electric car has been found not guilty of causing the death of his 5-year-old neighbour, Farid Amir, after claiming it suddenly moved because of a fault. Ashenafe de Messi was behind the vehicle of a Volkswagen ID4 when it accelerated forward, killing Farid and seriously injuring his own 12-year-old son in November 2022. And 47-year-old Nikki Guy from London has had her sight restored after receiving a new inexpensive treatment at Moorfields Eye Hospital. The charity worker lost her vision due to low eye pressure. She's now become the first person to have her eye injected with a low-cost gel, which she said has been phenomenal in helping her to see again. There are more questions tonight for the Met about how they police protests against Israel. It comes after a group targeted a restaurant in Notting Hill on Friday night, which is owned by an Israeli celebrity chef. Officers are accused of not doing enough as demonstrators chanted and called for armed resistance. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
The familiar chants of anti-Israel slogans on the streets of London. But these weren't outside a government building or embassy. Instead, the target was a restaurant serving Israeli cuisine in Notting Hill. Police said Friday's event was organised by the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network. But it's pictures of the police apparently not intervening which is causing controversy. Jewish community leaders accuse the demonstrators of intimidating customers.
If they are of such an extreme mindset that they think that is legitimate, then it really is down for the police and the local authorities to find a way to prevent this from happening and prevent it from really affecting daily Jewish life in the way these protests do.
The Erev restaurant is part of an international chain called Miznon. It's owned by Yal Shani, an Israeli celebrity chef. He's also a judge on Israel's version of MasterChef, which meant the demonstration in Notting Hill was headline news. Elat Simchayov, the London correspondent for Israel's Channel 12, was broadcasting from outside the restaurant today.
groups of people coming here, harassing diners, shouting, screaming, just making their lives miserable just for the decision they made to come and eat in a restaurant in West London, in this beautiful neighborhood of Notting Hill. It's absolutely an harassment. I think the police should be much stricter. They should be more involved in preventing these kinds of things from happening.
In a statement, the Met said the aim of the police operation was to balance the right to protest with the rights of other people to go about their lives without disruption. Scotland Yard said during the demonstration, a 35-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of chanting in a way that was meant to stir up racial hatred. He's now been released on bail. Tonight, Joe Powell, the local Labour MP, has written to the Home Secretary asking what steps the police will take to protect Jewish businesses from intimidation. Simon Harris, ITV News, Notting Hill. Still to come on the programme. Online and on track, how to stick to those New Year's fitness goals, and
It's a strange feeling, these blackouts.
a small film with big ambition, a Hackney thriller winning praise abroad. But first, friends and colleagues have paid tribute to the sports coach who died in a car crash while travelling with the boxer Anthony Joshua. Sinagami was with the former heavyweight champion when their car collided with a truck in Nigeria 2 weeks ago. Another passenger was killed, while Joshua himself escaped with minor injuries. At the gym in Barnet, which Sinna founded, today they remembered a man who brightened every room he entered. Here's Helen Keenan.
They saw each other as brothers. Travelling in a car together that crashed in Nigeria, Anthony Joshua was injured, but Lats and Sina were killed. Sina's gym in Colindale was a special place to them. Not only AJ's coach, they were part of a friendship group that started as teenagers. Today, 2 of their friends met me in that same ring.
You guys were all really like brothers together.
Yeah, for sure. I've known Sina since I was 15 years old.
How are the family doing?
I mean, they're devastated. They've lost a key. They've lost their king, essentially. He was like stage lights. So as soon as you walk in, you would notice. He was bright, he was smiley, he was happy. His love for his family and his friends were unconditional.
Sina and James were in Miami together just last month for AJ's fight against Jake Paul.
That's our last kind of picture together, which we took then. Then obviously I saw AJ. Yeah, we actually celebrated and enjoyed the win, which was really good. And again, my last experience with Sina and Lats, because as I said, we're always together, especially in and around the fights. So yeah, I'm just grateful that we had that kind of 48 hours, 36 hours in Miami together.
Outside Sina's gym in Colindale today, there are bunches and bunches of flowers. And inside is the community he gave so much to.
Sina was such a big personality. He's always smiling, he's always laughing, he's always cheering you on. To have lost such, a tremendous person, it's a big, big loss.
His friends say Sina was energy itself, and he'll always be with them. Helen Keenan, ITV News.
OK, let's find out what's on the evening news. Here's Mary.
Coming up in the programme, tensions continue to rise as Iran's foreign minister says his country is ready for war. That's if the US intervenes following a deadly Iranian crackdown on anti-government protests. We'll have reaction from Washington also tonight. Is this the biggest defection yet for Reform UK? The former Tory Chancellor Nadeem Zahawi joins Nigel Farage's ranks. And fresh off the back of the biggest ever FA Cup shock, we're with the heroes of Macclesfield as they find out who they'll face in the 4th round. Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
Our next guest plays a character who first charmed audiences nearly 25 years ago, originally brought to life by Reese Witherspoon, and now being played by a familiar face on TV and on stage.
And if there ever was a perfect couple, this one qualifies. And now I found my time. If there ever was a perfect couple.
Yes, it's Strictly finalist Amber Davis playing Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, the musical, and she's taking it out on tour. Are you looking forward to it?
I'm just looking at myself blonde.
It's really,
I still can't get used to it.
Suits you.
Thank you.
I really like it.
Thank you so much.
So you're sort of a few days into rehearsals and stuff. How are you finding it?
Yes, a lot to learn.
Okay.
You know, it's a big responsibility. I'd probably say it's the biggest I've had. But
Really?
yeah, so far in my career. But I mean, the score and the script speaks for itself. As an actress, it's extremely easy to just say the lines truthfully and the rest takes care of itself. It's just so wonderful.
Now, you were just a toddler when the film first came out. I mean, you were just a little wee toddler. What do you think it is about the story of Legally Blonde that has people still rushing out to go watch it on the stage all these years later?
I think, firstly, it was the era that the film came out. We have a handful of iconic films from that era. You know, they've all kind of transformed into a musical. It's one of those films where you can watch back hundreds of times and it does not get boring.
That is true.
And I mean, the adaptation with the songs included, it's just like an elevated version of the story.
Wow.
So if you are a fan of the film, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
And you go full in with the US accent and everything. Do you feel like you are Elwood?
Yes. And do you know what we're doing? We're making it current day, which is a different spin that we're taking with the direction of it. And it's very fashionable. So it's like fashion meets theatre and it's right up my street.
Oh, I love that. The thing is, you've thrown yourself into this not long after being in Strictly. Have you recovered?
A little.
Okay.
I mean, look, I got thrown into Strictly. It was a 24-hour notice. I had no idea I was going to make it to the end. So that came as a shock.
You deserved it.
I took every week as it came.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I was starting legally rehearsals. So I feel 100% myself physically, but I think fatigue-wise, I'm still getting there.
I mean, you went through a lot. I was reading so many wonderful interviews with you before you came in, and I loved this quote. You said of your time, this is towards the end of Strictly, you said, "Don't undermine yourself to make other people feel comfortable. That's not what we live for. We should live for us." And you were sort of talking about not making yourself smaller just to please other people.
Yeah.
What I thought was such an empowering thing for someone who is in the public eye and in essentially a reality TV show to say. How did you cope with a lot of the, I know you had such huge support, but then also some people who quite frankly said mean things that were completely unnecessary?
Yeah. I think I wasn't naive going into Strictly knowing I was going to receive those types of comments, because we've seen it before with anyone who has trained of some sort within musical theatre or dance. You know, they are kind of attacked the most. But it was a real interesting one because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So it whether I was really confident chatting, I was then obnoxious and, you know, too much. And then if you're quiet, then they're, oh, she's fake and shy. So the only thing I could do is be 100% authentically myself. And that's all I ever want to be in life, you know, comfortable in my own skin. And I want to, as long as you're kind and you work hard, I genuinely think that's all you can do in life.
And I think you did it, and you did it so well. And I think you going on tour with Legally Blonde, the musical, is going to be absolutely brilliant. And you'll be hitting Southend, Wimbledon and Woking.
We will be.
And I can tell it's going to be a good night.
It's going to be amazing.
Amber, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us. Thank you.
you.
Now, if you're flagging with your New Year fitness goals, the solution might be on your phone, apparently. Well, we've sent Sally to investigate. She's over at the Copper Box Gym in the Olympic Park in full kit. Hey, Sal.
Hiya! I think you're going to have to zoom in on my muscles to see them. This is twice as heavy as I normally lift. I'm going to put it down. Now, you might notice I don't have a single bit of sweat on my face, but let me introduce you to a man who does. Tom, you've got a lovely glow on there.
Thank you very much, Sally. Good evening.
And good evening to you, sir. Have you got any resolutions? Don't stop. Keep going, Tom. Have you got any resolutions this year?
Yeah, 3 Peaks Challenge in May.
Oh, my goodness. That sounds awful, but also really exciting. You looking forward to it?
I am indeed, yeah. Be a good challenge.
Oh, my goodness. Well, good luck with that.
Thank
now,
you.
as I said, I don't actually have a sweat on me, but I was put through my paces earlier by Coach John. Let's take a little look.
For the bar, underarm. Come on.
Oh, gosh.
Stop talking.
Oh,
no
I feel
talking.
sick.
Just get on with it.
I can't stop talking. I literally can't stop. Oh, here we go.
2. Great work.
Now
guys.
listen to Demos here. Give him some of it, Demos.
Hey guys, this is about Body Pump here at the Copper Box Arena with my fit family here today.
Now this guy shouting instructions at those guys. Do you need that or do you need an app? So I'm at the Better Gym, which is at the Olympic Stadium, the Copper Box Arena, and they've got a new app out, and they've done some research. As part of that, they said that 2/3 of lovely Londoners are going to do some of their exercise on an app this year. So Demos, tell us, what's better, an app or having the whip cracked?
Both. I've got to say definitely both here, because in person people enjoy a good bit of pushing from teachers like myself or others.
Yes, push, push, push.
But however, the Better app, it's an all-in-one app, comes with everything from your nutrition to your fitness needs, online on-demand workouts.
You've got the whole lot. Tell me, how many of your, what do you call them, your customers start in January and finish in February?
Well, about that, that's a story you'll have to find out. Because I think sometimes people do enjoy working hard and,
Come on,
sometimes
Demos,
it
why have
happens.
you stopped? Harder, everybody!
Anyway, if
I'm
you
going to go
do
to a
is
quiet
squat and
corner
shoulder press.
and do the weather. Well, Nolan, pump it, buddy!
Good evening. Hey, I'm good. Enjoying it.
Look
Yes.
at the sweat.
Come rain or shine, Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello again. I hope you had a lovely day. Goodness me, a high of 3 degrees last week compared to a high of 11 degrees this Monday. What a difference a week makes, or indeed a day. No frosty start this morning or tomorrow. It's grey, it's damp, but it stays mild tomorrow. Into Wednesday, it's brighter and drier, a little cooler again, and then for Thursday, we get the wind and rain joining us. Joy of joys. Right, let's talk about the detail for here and now. So there is some rain moving through this evening, but only in some areas. It clears off out of the way, and then it's dry for the rest of the night, but that low cloud comes through, and we may end up with some mist and murk on some higher ground. The temperatures will rest around high single figures, so again, not too chilly overnight. So into tomorrow morning, it's grey from the word go, and then the rain comes. So do take an umbrella tomorrow. You're probably going to need it. Not too bad on the wind front, a little breezier at the coast, and temperatures again mild, perhaps a little down on today, highs of 9 to 10 degrees. If you're going out tomorrow night, maybe you're doing some training, take an umbrella again, staying wet. But you can see those skies clearing as we go into Wednesday morning. Cold start, but it will be a drier, brighter day. And then for Thursday, looking like we're going downhill again at the moment. We've got that wind picking up and the rain joining us. For Friday, currently, scattered showers and sunny spells. So that is it for now. Go and pump some iron or have a cup of tea. I'll see you later on. Cheerio.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
The Crown star Erin Doherty was part of the winning streak for the drama Adolescence at last night's Golden Globes.
Jamie, this is our last session. What? But what I would encourage you to do, whatever happens next, is take advantage of any mental health services that are offered to you. I think you'll benefit from
The actor from Crawley won a Best Supporting Award for her part in the Netflix show about a teenager arrested for the murder of a classmate, despite her speech needing to be heavily bleeped because of a few choice words. She went on to dedicate her win to therapists.
I didn't want to assume, but I feel like we all know. Go therapists. I just think life can be tough. Mental health is everything. So thank you to therapists, and it was an honour to play one. Thank you so much.
Okay, to another award winner now, albeit one without a Hollywood budget, or indeed any budget at all, actually. Disremember is a psychological thriller set in Hackney, performed and created by just one man, EastEnders actor Matthew Simpson. And as Antoine Allen reports, despite the film's small scale, it's making big waves.
It's a strange feeling, these blackouts.
Every scene, script line and edit technique of this award-winning feature film was conducted by one filmmaker, taking on every role. This was the biggest challenge of Matthew Simpson's career.
I can't remember.
His film Disremember tells the story of an ex-military man who begins experiencing unexplained blackouts and repeatedly wakes up in unfamiliar places with no memory of how he got there. The nature of a one-man project means Matthew was the actor, director, cameraman and editor.
Firstly, just to challenge myself to try and show that without any resources, with limited kit and with limited budget and with no support of any sort, that you're still able to tell a story the way you envisioned it.
The psychological thriller was filmed in Hackney.
I can't remember.
What made you want to choose this location? I wanted it to feel gritty, raw and real. And as you can see, this has it in abundance. It has graffiti, rubbish. It just feels lived in.
Disremember took years to write, but just 20 days to film, a process that pushed Matthew's filmmaking skills to the limit.
What did you enjoy the most about making the film? Finishing it. No, I think when you're doing something on your own, I think it was challenging to find moments where I was actually enjoying it, because it was just relentless, it was constant. But I suppose there were a few moments when you'd finish a scene, or you'd finish the day, the schedule, and I was to schedule, right? I'd finished exactly what I needed to do on that day, because just ticking off shots, I think that was the most satisfying thing. I've done that, move on to the next thing.
Critics have praised Disremember, which was produced with zero budget. But at the festivals, it's been beating traditional films with big crews and funding. The film has won several awards, including Best Narrative Feature at the BAFTA and BIFA qualifying Aesthetica Film Festival.
I didn't even think I would even finish the film. So to have this type of recognition, to get it into festivals, is a huge accomplishment for me, and something I'm actually really proud of.
If you want to watch this innovation in filmmaking, there is a screening on the 27th of January at Riverside Studios. Antoine Allen, ITV News.
Oh, well done, Matthew. OK, that's it from us. The evening news is next with Mary. But for now, from all of us on the team, have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.